To the max, baby. Welcome back to the Max podcast, where we have a real talk about educational transformation. I am Dr. Max, and I am super excited to be here today with the one and the only Miss Porsche Jones. Hey, Porsche.
Hi, Dr. Maxwell.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it.
You're so awesome. So you and your mother just had an amazing trip to Greece. How was that?
Egypt.
Egypt. Oh, I want you to go to Greece so bad, but how was Egypt?
So I've been to Greece. I love Greece. But this particular trip, it was an amazing trip. It was her and her cousins, and I ended up going at the last minute. We went for 7 days. We were in Cairo, and so we were able to see the pyramids, ride the camels, and just see a lot of our rich history. So very amazing trip. I would suggest anybody on your bucket list, make sure you go to Egypt.
That's beautiful. Congratulations to get to have that personal one-on-one time with your mommy.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Well, I know you've had a long day, and so I really want to say thank you for taking the time, because I've got to know you over the past 4.5 years, and I think that you're just absolutely phenomenal. So for the world that don't know a lot about you, you're a Carver High School alum.
I am.
You got a full ride basketball scholarship to Wake Forest, but your height is like 5'2"?
5'2", very solid 5'2".
Yeah, solid 5'2". Right. So how did that work for you? Like, I mean, height, you think of basketball, you need to be, more.
Yeah. So I think I was able to defy a lot of odds. I was blessed with a lot of great people that kind of stepped into my life. Coach Poe, somebody I always honor every time I can. He really, put his foot up my behind, if I could say that, and really taught me the importance of discipline and time management and structure and just understanding how to compete at my highest level. I didn't, really have ambition to play college basketball until I started getting scholarships and offers. And so I was raised by my grandparents, and both were pretty much getting a little bit older, and so I wanted to stay local. And happen chance, I went to Wake for one of their team camps. They came and watched me a couple times during the season, and they offered me a scholarship. And so I had like NC State and UNC Charlotte and other colleges, but I decided it'll be a great opportunity to stay local, get a great education, and have the opportunity to stay close to my family.
So all of that happened for you at Carver High School, 3545 Carver School Road, right?
27105.
Yes. So tell me about that, because people sometimes forget the richness and the history in the Big Four: E. Smith, Dudley High School, Carver, and Hillside. So what did having that experience going to one of those high schools mean to you? Because the teachers then also, you talked about Coach Poe.
Yeah.
So what were those relationships like?
Man, Carver was like home. I grew up down Carver School Road in Northwood Estates, and so I grew up riding up and down Carver School Road, hearing the band on Friday night, seeing a packed parking lot. It was something I always wanted to do. My grandmother was a stickler on education, and at that time, Carver wasn't recognized as a high-performance high school. It's some of the same challenges that we see now is what we saw 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so she made a deal with me. If I make honor roll, I had to have perfect attendance. I had to perform well. I had to do my part, and I was able to come here. And I think some of the teachers like Sharon Strawn, Mr. Atiba D. Bethia, Mr. Dixon, some of these people held me to a very high standard. And so, of course, there's crowds of friends and some friends that are more focused than others.
Right.
And I think Carver's a place where when teachers identify that you have a talent, that you have a skill set, or that you have potential to be something, this is a place where you can get lost in the shuffle, or if you make the right decisions, you have people who will support you along that journey.
But you really talked about how your grandmother had expectations for you and how she made a deal with you to say, if this is what you want, these are the things that I'm holding you accountable to do. So parenting was still a part of that responsibility, right?
100%. I think I learned at a very young age, it starts at home. The discipline, the structure, the expectations. Again, with that deal, I knew there were certain things that I had to do to make sure that I met the requirements. And that's something that I received at a very young age. These are the things that you have to do to remain successful. There's a certain type of discipline and expectation that goes with that.
So that goes into another conversation. So discipline, we're all in the society of gentle parenting.
Oh, God.
And so it is a very interesting conversation that I have a 22 and a 24-year-old. I have friends that are still parenting much younger children. So when you talk about discipline, and we're having this whole societal conversation about gentle parenting and restorative practices in school, or corporal punishment or not to, and then, you know, the mass incarceration, what is your mindset around all of those things?
So, you know, I think as society changes, we have to make adjustments. I don't necessarily agree. I was one that grew up, you know, I'm an 80s baby, right? So tough love, tough discipline. Like I mentioned with Coach Poe, if you played here at Carver High School, you probably got cursed out at some point. But it was out of a place of love.
Right. It was relationships that preceded that.
100%. Yeah. It was, there's an expectation. I may tear you down to get your attention, but I'm going to build you back up because I expect more out of you. Yeah. Gentle parenting reminds me from a sports standpoint of everybody wins. So there's a feeling now that if you are participating, then you are successful.
So you don't believe that everybody get a trophy?
I do not.
Oh, I like for everybody to get a trophy.
No, everybody can get.
We can all get a participation trophy though, right?
Not a participation trophy. No, only because I think it sends the wrong message.
But, okay, so let's have that conversation. So as a parent, I want you to get a trophy because you participated. It doesn't mean you won, but you participated.
So then you can get like a certificate.
Oh, well, you get
participation.
Something. Oh, that's great. So let's get a certificate of participation, but you get a trophy for first, second, and third place.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, yeah. We can agree to that.
Yeah, there's standards.
There are levels to the process.
100%. And that's not to say that everybody's equal. And some people will just be better than others. I think that's okay.
I agree.
I think that's okay. But I think we create an atmosphere where everybody gets the same things. It kind of, I think it gives a level of, it makes someone can be confused because they can think in life, I can do the bare minimum and I'll get the same thing that the next person can get.
And that is definitely not the case.
Absolutely.
Everybody's not going to be LeBron James, but everybody's also not going to put in the same level of work.
100%.
Went to a conference, a face-to-face at Wake Forest with Chris Paul. And he talked about the level of dedication and work that he had to do at 20 versus the level of dedication, time, and energy he has to put in at 40. He was like, you know, I had to do a lot then, but I have to do double the work now. That piece of cake looks amazing, but I can't eat it because it has a different impact on my 40-year-old body.
Exactly.
And so I'm having to be up earlier to work out longer hours. And so I don't think people see the work because with social media, it makes everybody think that life is instant gratification.
100%.
And there's some work behind there, and there's some photoshopping behind that as well.
There is.
But we confuse those things because there's no escalator to success. You have to take the stairs, and it's day by day. So that leads us into, even with your 5'2", and you defied the odds, because when you look at, you know, basketball people and stars, like I am in love with Asia Wilson. Now, I can't tell you anything about what she's doing on the basketball court, but I love her book. Yeah. And I am purchasing her book for my girls club.
Yeah.
And we're going to do the book. And I think the message that it sends to young women of color is absolutely amazing. And so Dear Black Girls is phenomenal. But I think for her as a basketball player to tell her story and to tell her truth that way is also showing children the transparency in it, because they see people as one-dimensional.
Absolutely.
So they see you as a baller and not as a real person. And I think she's letting that light shine differently.
Absolutely.
But for you to be 5'2", and to play ball with these people who I perceive are much taller than you.
Way taller.
Way taller than you, says that you are not to be played with.
Yeah.
You are tough.
Yeah.
You have some perseverance. You have some grit. You have some fight.
Yeah.
And some hard work in you.
Yeah.
Like, you know how to get knocked down and get back up.
100%.
Like, what built that in you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was my environment. I talk about it often. You know, I was raised around a lot of boys, 100% a tomboy. And when I was younger, I did things outside. I played rollerback. We did kickball. I did throw-up tackle. I went to a small church, and on Saturdays when we had choir rehearsal, we'll go to the choir room and play throw-up tackle with the boys. And so I learned how to be tough, you know, and I think that toughness has helped me navigate through my entrepreneur opportunities. It's helped me navigate just balance in life, and just giving me, I think, the opportunities to just achieve some things that I, can create SMART goals, and I understand the different things that I have to do to navigate how to be successful. That started at a young age, which, helped me to be a pretty decent basketball player for my size. And I was just what they would consider just a tough little kid.
The Bible say, don't just talk about it, be about it.
Absolutely.
You can tell about where your heart is by where you put your time and your gifts, and that's your money as well.
Yeah.
And so talk a little bit about who you are beyond Carver High School, well, beyond the high school, Porsche Jones, the Wake Forest Porsche Jones, and how all of these things have evolved you into this woman that you are today, to say, yeah, I'm tough, but I'm also soft, and this is how I do this, and this is how I support other people in my community.
Yeah, so I think I can accredit that to my upbringing. I like to, accredit my grandparents. My grandmother was a Delta, Eastern Star, was in every organization possible. My grandfather was a 33rd degree Mason. So I was exposed to what I would say Black excellence at a very young age. And so I learned a lot about legacy. I learned a lot about taking care of my community, taking care of my family, and really that love is more about the donations that you give out, not the investments. And so sometimes we can equate love to, I invested in this, so I expect this
Get
back.
something back. Yes.
But love is truly, when you lead with love, you lead with just giving, and it doesn't matter what comes
anything
back.
in return.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how I navigate anything that I'm a part of, whether it's working at Novant and being able to work in a community. We work with the underserved, from the homeless population to those who are, rich and wealthy.
Extremely affluent.
But the most important thing is that people need to understand the importance of their health, to take care. I often say that health is wealth. And so I get paid to do something I would do for free at Novant. So I appreciate that journey.
So what do you do at Novant? Talk to us a little bit about your corporate side of the work that you do, and how, as a woman of color, even though you're from this community, you have a lot of legacy and a lot of community backing. How has that worked with you in corporate America? Because it's not easy for us to navigate those spaces.
Yeah, I would say first and foremost, I think being born and raised in Winston, it comes with a level of pressure.
Yes.
And so not necessarily.
How do you like that?
Yeah. So the pressure is something that I think I've grown accustomed to.
Okay.
But at the same time as I've gotten older, I'm starting to care less about the perception of what people think about me.
Can I tell you something? I think that comes with age, because Jamal Bryant, I love him. I don't know if you do. So,
yes.
And the other day I was watching something. I'm getting, scrolling on Instagram, and he had this one, "It's not you, it's me." Did you see that one?
That's it.
And I was like, I had to send this to my mother, because I was like, y'all, it's not you, it's me.
That's
if
it.
I don't call you back, if I block you, because I feel I just don't, I can't.
Yeah.
My peace is very important to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to protect it at all costs.
100%.
And if I feel that there's something that is happening between the two of us that is going to prohibit my peace, then I have to protect it.
Yeah.
And that might mean we might need some time apart. That happens with age, I think.
My grandfather used to say the first law of nature is self-preservation.
That's a good one.
As long as you can preserve yourself, you are no good for nobody else if you don't have anything. If your tank is empty, it's nothing for you to
pour
give.
back. But we as women also do so much for other people. And when you're in a self-care field like we are, we always care about other people. We're
100%.
always doing. So intentionally, how do you take care of you? Because I know that's an area I struggle in.
Yeah.
I've spent more time learning to sit silent and to be alone and ride in silence just to think.
Yeah.
I've really got into Audible and listening to books, and Kennedy Ryan is my new best friend.
Okay.
Have you listened to her books?
Of course.
Oh, I love her. Oh my gosh, isn't she amazing?
Yeah.
And so got into Kennedy Ryan and her books. Everybody's like, that's old, but because for me, I read educational books. And so I'm getting into fiction, and it's such a cool thing just to be selfless and lost in the pages of something that's not about the work I do.
Yeah.
And I've had the best time with that.
Yeah.
And so what do you do just to detach? Because you're working a job Monday through Friday, you're doing your other things on the weekends. So you're busy 7 days a week. So what do you do for self-care? Because it's easy to talk about it. And, you said health is wealth, right? And work in the healthcare field, you love to check people's blood pressure. You love to say eat right. But how do you do those things for you?
Yeah, so I'm probably the worst at it right now.
I figured.
But it's something that I'm aware of. I think that's the first
self-awareness.
To thy own self be true. And so for the last maybe 2 years or so, every week I get a massage. I have a massage therapist that comes to my home.
Oh, that's good.
So I have a level of privacy and intimacy that I can create for myself. Certain things that ended up feeling like chores, like going to get pedicures and manicures. I think if we disconnect and create kind of like a soothing environment. So typically I'm on my phone the entire time.
I agree.
And so now it's just kind of make it, so it's like just making those conscious efforts to take the time to disconnect and just be okay with just disconnecting. The other thing I'll say that has helped with self-care is just traveling. I love to travel. I want to travel the world. And to be able to delegate and trust my team, the people who are around me that care and support and love me. I think quite naturally when you're used to doing everything yourself,
it's hard.
You want to make sure everything is done the right way.
Yeah.
And so over the years, I've learned that I can pass it. I like to say I like to pass the ball a little bit more as I've gotten older. And so, that's some of the things that I do. Now, I can do a better job, 100%, but I think I'm doing better than I was before.
So I'm super proud of you that you create the space, because I was just getting manicure and pedicure last week, and the whole time I was on my iPad, I was on my cell phone, scared I'm gonna miss something. So you're supposed to be in a moment of relaxation, and you're working the entire time. So it defeats the purpose. I signed up to get massages once a month, and I skip and miss the appointments because it seems like a chore to schedule the appointment to go to the massage. So you said, oh, I have a home, I can schedule it. Like the intentionality around it makes it a lot easier. So you look it into your day, so it's nothing extra.
100%.
So I signed up for a yoga class.
Yes.
And it has been so amazing.
Really?
Yeah. So, and it came from a group with some guys, some young men here. We're doing a restorative circle.
Okay.
And it's called a restoration circle. And we do it in a restoration room. We've made a room.
Really?
We got yoga balls. Oh yeah. I have like the football players. I have some JROTC guys, I have some band guys. It's about 15 guys.
Okay.
And we do yoga once a week, and we talk about things, and it's just posing questions. But they said that they needed a place just to really be able to just talk about things that they're dealing with.
Absolutely.
Some of the trauma, some of the real life experiences, how to manage some things that they're just going through. And because they said our parents just don't understand. And Will Smith said it best, parents just don't understand.
Of course.
That might be a little, I might be dating myself. So out of the group with the young men, young ladies have come to me and were like, send an email for a proposal to do their own restorative circle.
Okay.
And so I'm going to start with them the first week of November. And we'll meet after school once a week. And that's the group that we're going to do the Asia Wilson's book with.
That's perfect.
So spending time with them that way, which is really outside of the role, which is not for me, because I think for me, the relationship of being a principal is more important, because we built a safe place for them where they feel that they can talk and communicate and know they're loved.
Yeah, sure.
And if they're safe nowhere else, they're going to be safe here.
Yeah.
So when they wrote their own proposal and sent it to me to do their own group, and they met today, and they said they want 12 young ladies. They want to meet once a week after school. They're going to start reading the chapters ahead. So we can have discussions about the book. I was just so proud of their leadership.
Yeah.
So me and one other staff member will be their facilitator.
Yeah.
But they're totally taking the lead on this.
That's good.
And so they prompted me to do something for myself that I wasn't willing to take the initiative to do.
Sure.
But I'm excited about it.
That's good.
And I think as women, sometimes we just have to have a push.
Yeah, I mean, and to that point, even if you did yoga and you didn't like it, you have the opportunity to find something else. And so you keep trying until you find what works for you.
What do you think the differences are from when you and I are in school, which there's a gap between the two of those, to our here we go. Absolutely. She's trying to date me, guys. To what our students are going through now with the state of the world and all the things they're able to see and how it's impacting them socially, emotionally, and really with their mental health.
Yeah, so As a health services manager at Novant, we obviously focus on the whole person, from an emotional standpoint, their mental health. When I was in school, there were stressors, there were things that we had to go through, but I don't think we ever really talked about mental health. And I think you guys taking this approach kind of focus on the whole person. Maybe these are things that these students can take to their future selves. Young men, I think now are exposed to so many different things with the influence of social media, not knowing what decisions to make. And so I think having this focus during school hours or while you're in school, I think it'll help develop from a mental standpoint. There's stressors, there's different things that develop during those teen years. And, there's traumas and different things that we don't focus on. And sometimes as adults, we're trying to heal that little person that was inside of us.
We often are trying to heal that little person.
And so from an educational standpoint, I think it speaks volumes as to what you guys are trying to accomplish and what you are exposing the kids to. From a mental health standpoint, there's no perfect approach. And so I think being able to just see what works. And if the young men and young women are finding this as a trusted space and they're able to advocate for themselves and speak on the things that could be impacting them from a home environment, from a school environment, that's not something that we had when I was in high school. We had teachers who would pry and say, you don't look right today. But to have a safe space, I think that's the first part of taking care of that whole person and make sure they have the opportunity to be a successful young woman or young man.
I think I agree, because for them and for me, it's been really interesting to see the evolution of them going from very closed individuals and angry to coming to say, hey, I need to talk. Can we have a moment? Can we sit down? Or even seeing them cry. And so they said in a session a couple weeks ago, I asked the question, as young men, what have y'all heard about crying or sharing your emotion? You don't cry. Suck it up. Get yourself together. Boy, what's wrong with you? Get up off that ground. Like, they started saying these very negative things that they've heard over time about how men are supposed to share their emotions. And they said now to be able to, we've been taught that it's okay. We don't get to sit there, but we are supposed to be able to clearly articulate how we feel. It was like, tears. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, because if they can transfer that from school to home to their community to society, we're making a difference. 100%. Like, that is one less person that we have to possibly worry about doing something erratic, right?
And even if they don't make the right decisions, they have the tools.
They have the tools.
So now that's the difference. They have the tools to now make a decent decision, and how that decision pans out is totally up to them at the end of the day. But I think you've done a great job in putting that in place.
In your world of work, with Team Bond.
I was going to say which work. Okay,
yes, Team Bond. With Team Bond. Talk about what do you do with Team Bond? What is Team Bond?
Yes, so BOND is an acronym, stands for Building on New Development. I started that program in 2008. So I graduated in 2006 from Wake Forest. And I started an all-girls program. We kept the girls together all through, really they started in 4th grade. We kept them through middle school and high school, and they all got full scholarships.
Oh, that's phenomenal. How many girls was it?
15.
How are they doing now?
Some of them are in the military. Most of them have got their masters. I have a couple people who are dentists now. I have a couple educators. Pretty much all of them are pretty successful.
That is phenomenal, and you have the data to track the success of that program.
That's it.
When you started your first cohort of young women. That's phenomenal.
I learned from that process that the things that I wasn't prepared for when I went to Wake Forest, from coming from Carver High School and going to Wake Forest, it was culturally different.
Extreme. I'm sure that was an extreme cultural difference.
Yeah, it was different, and the expectations of having a balance, being a student athlete, is much more different than what I expected. And so what I wanted to do is take the things that I was not prepared for, and for any families and young girls who wanted that opportunity to play basketball at the next level, I started them at a young age of helping them understand time management, the importance of like reading and writing, not just being an athlete, but being a student athlete.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, so we created a complete program, and we still have the program going today. I'll have an exciting announcement in November of this year.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yes.
Like, is it going to be an event for this announcement?
It's not going to be an event. It's going to be a partnership and some funding support.
High five, girl.
Yes.
All about the win.
Yes.
Clock
That's
that.
right.
Yes.
You're so silly.
I love it.
You're so
I'm
silly.
all about that success. I mean, I think
Yes.
that we should celebrate each other. And I think that what you're doing is amazing because our children don't understand the difference, right?
Yeah.
They really think that we're asking them to do a lot by coming to school, going to practice, and going to games.
Absolutely.
They have no understanding of what is going to be required of them to go to college and play ball at another level.
Yeah.
And then with the transfer portals, how difficult it makes things for them. And then they complain. And so we were having this conversation with students just the other day.
Sure.
Like, the weight row shouldn't be something someone should have to make you do. It should be something you want to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Speed and agility training should be something someone has to make you do.
Yeah.
It should be something you should be asking to do. Eating right should be something you should be desiring to do.
100%.
You should be sitting down trying to identify what foods to eat. But if you haven't been taught that, then they don't understand that. And we're in a district that doesn't have middle school sports.
Yep.
Pop Warner is for football. And so that makes it also very difficult for children when you're competing against districts that have middle school sports. And a lot of these things have been taught.
Yeah.
It's almost like a disservice a little bit, or it's hard to compete actually at the same level because you're a little behind. And so you're playing catch up, especially if your family doesn't have the resources to get you where they are.
Yeah. So there's a concept that I used to always tell my girls, my players. There's a difference between exposure and being exposed. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of things that we did in preparation was to make sure they were prepared for the exposure. If not, then when they get out there, they're in front of college coaches. They may not know who's watching them. Their attitude is bad. They look like they're uncoachable. Then you're being exposed. That's right. And so the whole concept of that's the journey of life. Yes. If you don't know how to navigate that, the exposure part, you'll always get exposed.
You will always get exposed.
Yeah.
So I think that another thing that I really like about you is that you care about people and your heart is true.
Yeah.
And you have the desire to make a difference and an impact, and you're real. Mm-hmm. And from the time I met you, you've been a woman of your word. You say what you mean and you mean what you say, and you truly care. And it's hard to find new people to come into your circle that you can truly trust and be authentic with. And I appreciate that about you because I'm not a trusting person.
Yeah, right? I'm not either. Yeah, just to be honest.
I won't talk to you, No, I talk to you, I love everybody. I love everybody, but you be like, I don't know about you. 50, right? Yeah, 50. I don't want the spirits, right? 100%. 100%, right? And we know how to interact in all social circles and all environments because you know how to vibe and lead. Yeah. But you also know how to protect your heart. 100%. Because at the end of the day, we have to protect our heart because when you give so much of it, you can't have people playing with that. Oh, yeah. And I appreciate how much of yourself you give to me, how much you give to your community. Absolutely. And you will continue to be blessed. Now, is there anything you want to say to the Maxwell before we depart?
Listen, make sure you guys tune in to every single episode from Dr. Maxwell. She's an amazing human being. She's doing a great thing at Carver High School. All of the things that has been said about Carver, you have to come over here and see exactly what's happening. Some of these things have been going on for 20, 25 years, and yet we have alumni like myself and other people who have gone on to do amazing things. And so so many lives are changed within these walls. And so anything we can do from an alumni standpoint, from a community standpoint, I'm committed to it. I see all the things that you're doing. I'm amazed by, the talent and all the things that we see within the school, and I'm just excited.
Thank you so much for all that you do. And this is the definition of what alumni looks like. Absolutely. Give back, show up, and be committed. And this work that you do was not so much for me about the alumni work, or it's about you because you are a true testament of what having multiple gifts and talents look like, but being able to produce that work and have a true impact on your community. And so that's what Real Talk about educational transformation looks like, because it doesn't show up in one way, it shows up in multiple ways. But what we do know she talked about is the impact that school had upon her, and we're grateful for that. So if you have not liked, watched, subscribed, or shared, please do so. Tell a friend and bring a friend. and go out and be great because you already are. See you next time.
Bye.